This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And, although I typically do say Shang-Chi, just, because it's the internet, I'm going to use Shang-Chi, but I might slip up a few times, so sorry about that if it does happen. And, I think it was a good movie. It was like, maybe mid-tier MCU. It's not, I think on the amazing level, where I think movies like Infinity War, Endgame, Avengers, Spider-Man and Captain America movies, the first Iron Man are, but it's also not on the pretty short list of pretty bad ones, like Iron Man 2, 3, The Hulk, and Thor the Dark World. I think this is, more mid-tier for it. And I think it was, pretty decent. The thing is, I can't think of its exact place because we're at like 24 or 25 MCU movies right now? I think we're at 25? Maybe 26? But, yeah, there's a lot of them. And it's really hard to, figure out where it should be. And I think it was a pretty good movie. The Mandarin was definitely a lot better in this than it was done in Iron Man 3, with him not even technically being the Mandarin. Just mainly because he just thinks the name is ridiculous. But that was kind of funny. And then we also have the return of the most infamous and most powerful villain in the entire multiverse. The one who will be the villain of Phase 4 is clearly Trevor Slattery. Okay, I'm kidding. It was just fun to see him in there. And honestly, I thought he was just going to appear kind of in a flashback, depending on when this movie was set. And I think it's after. It's after the blip, since we see Bruce Banner at the end with the injured arm. But while looking at it, it's set in 2023 or 2024. I think Endgame was 2023. It's set in one of those 2 years, but it's been about a decade since the events of Iron Man 3. And that's also kind of interesting that that's when, Shang-Chi, they just did it. Where he goes and leaves, but that's right when, Slattery's plan, well, not Slattery, Killian's plan happens. And yeah, Killian was, he was that good of a antagonist, and just kind of, well, he was an okay one, but kind of forced in. And I probably feel like it should have been the Mandarin, but that's a different video to make. And although I don't think Trevor was a bad character in the movie, it was, kind of funny, it just wasn't supposed to feel like it should be part of the movie. And we should have had the real Mandarin there. And that's my, main complaint. And besides that, talking about Iron Man 3, finishing that up, I think it was really funny to see him here. He was, pretty consistent to how he was after the revelation of him. This continued on from also All Hail the King. And really, I think that was pretty interesting with him. I think he was probably the most fun character on there. But looking at the main cast, we definitely had some interesting ones. I was going to mention just quickly Wong, and it's pretty interesting he appeared in there. I think the main reason is because I think I heard he wanted to be with, work with other Asian actors and was really excited and to talk to the director and they were able to get him in. And it was cool. It was really cool to see him fighting the Abomination. And that was, interesting. And then, going on. And you could think it was really fun to see everything going on. And it was, they had a lot of fun in the movie. It wasn't feel overly ridiculous. And, well, Wen Wu, which is, well, the name he has, his real name. Most people think of him as the Mandarin, even though he said that it was a ridiculous name. He goes and, and he is trying to get his wife back, but it's being manipulated by, it's like a soul-sucking demon. And he frees that demon, and the demon kills him. And, yeah, they try to make him sympathetic, but I think that he could have been really cool to keep as a villain. And if instead of maybe like a minor, more of a, not exactly a minor, but I think minor in, comparison threat to the rest of the MCU. But, anyway, I think this movie did a good job. And, yeah, I'd say it's about middle. There was a lot of stuff in, I believe, it wasn't in English, it was a lot of subtitles. And, I mean, if you're not someone who likes subtitles, then yeah, that might be a little annoying. Also, I can't remember if I gave a spoiler warning on this. Don't really feel like going back and checking, but you clicked on a review, so you should have known there have been spoilers in this. The only type of review should not expect spoilers from is spoiler-free reviews. And that's to say that, in the title. But if you click on it and you got it spoiled, that's on you. Since, you shouldn't be watching movie reviews when you haven't seen the movie yet, if you care enough about that. And going back, yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. Kind of wish that he was set up more of maybe a long-term villain. And one of the things I kind of wish we had explained a little was his involvement with the Ten Rings in Iron Man. And, of course, I mean the one that kidnapped Tony and Obadiah Stane's orders. Were they, related to him, or were they part of a different group? That's I think that could have been really fun, in that series of, showing the history. Maybe after they could have had a short part where they have maybe a news scene filmed with Obadiah Stane contacting the Mandarin and him putting him in contact. Or him actually selling to the Mandarin, and that was part of him, rebuilding his empire. I think that would have just been a really fun connection to the Iron Man movies, since, yeah, it would have cost a lot and taken away from the movie. If we had some kind of, flashback scene to Iron Man being in there, but I think a nice compromise would have been Obadiah Stane, perhaps, in a flashback, showing him, working with, what's his name? The man, well, working with the Mandarin. And also, it's pretty crazy when you think of it that everyone in this movie seemingly survived, well, the snap, and then, because it seems that they were all close together, and it seems pretty weird that no one in that family was erased, since the Mandarin seemed to be active the entire time, and Shang-Chi and, well, his sister were being watched by him. They clearly weren't, snapped away. But either way, I just think that's a little weird, but, it did happen for some people, and it seems like that family just got extremely lucky. Maybe it's because they weren't so close together, so I'm not really sure about how that works. But when looking at it, I think that, yeah, it's a pretty good movie, about middle tier of the MCU. I don't think I have much more to say. It was, just a decent middle tier MCU movie, and I would recommend you seeing it. I'm not saying it was the best one ever. It does have, that dragon fight in the end. And the one thing I was hoping was this doesn't end like, well, Smollok does in The Hobbit, because although I think it does work in The Hobbit, I think it would have been kind of anticlimactic in this for someone who's, a pretty inexperienced archer to be able to go and take out this giant, demon dragon. And yeah, I was glad that's not how it died. And I think that the Mandarin's death, although well done, I feel like shouldn't have happened. I think it would have been way more interesting for him to remain alive and stay as a threat in the MCU. Although I don't think that there really was no way, since he was kind of towards the end of a redemption path, especially going to save his son. And honestly, yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. I'm not gonna repeat myself again saying the exact same thing, but look out for those to my content this week, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.